Hi everyone, welcome to Cloud by Veer YouTube channel. My name is Virender guys, and in today's video we are going to talk about how to launch an EC2 instance in AWS Management Console using Terraform, right? So what's the reason behind creation of this EC2 instance? What exactly this EC2 instance is? First, we are going to see the manual process, how we can create an EC2 instance manually using AWS Management Console. And then secondly, we are going to see that how exactly we can create this EC2 instance using Terraform, which is your infrastructure as code tool. So the task or the resources which you can create in the AWS Management Console using your manual process or using this graphical user interface, you can create all the resources using a tool named as Terraform with the help of Visual Studio Code IDE. Now we'll go step by step. My name is Virender and I welcome you all to this specific practical demonstration video. Right? This is our lecture 2 of Terraform practical series. I'm planning to provide you so many different videos on this Terraform infrastructure as code tool as part of this entire series of the different Terraform practical videos. We have already covered one video on this particular tool in which we have seen that how to create a multi-tier VPC architecture using Terraform tool. In this specific video, we are going to see that how exactly we can create a virtual machine or an EC2 instance depending on the requirement of the organization with the help of Terraform tool. But before that, let's try to understand what is this instance is inside Amazon Web Services. So if you have ever heard about one word which is named as a server, or we can call it as a physical server. So the same server compute capacity or the server configurations we can create inside AWS Management Console. It is called as an instance, which is known as the virtual machine inside AWS. So this is my AWS Management Console. If you can see over here, there is a services tab over here. What you need to do, you just go to the compute section. Over here, you will be able to see the EC2 section available, virtual servers in the cloud. If you click on this particular section over here, it will take you to this web interface of this EC2 dashboard. If you click on this instance option over here, it will take you to this particular window screen. And if you click on this launch instance button over here, now we see that the different options or different what exactly the path we need to follow to create a virtual machine inside AWS Management Console. Now, first you need to provide name for your virtual machine, right? Second, you need to select the operating system for your virtual machine, which is the nothing but as the Amazon machine image, or it is known as the AMI, which will have all the operating system and the software configurations of your operating system of or your application, which are pre-installed in this specific AMI by the AWS. So if you click on this browse more AMIs, it will show you the different AMIs available. So depending on your use case, you can go to this AWS Marketplace, which is an online store to buy or purchase AMI from AWS or from the trusted third party applications or third party organizations as well, right? So depending on the architecture, depending on the operating system category, you can select the specific AMI depending on your use case, which is your use case, or maybe according to the requirement of your organization. After that, you need to select the instance type or the virtual machine type depending on how much memory you want, how much CPU you want, what type of family of EC2 instance you want, or depending on the requirement and the use case, you can select an EC2 instance type, in which we have T2.nano, T2.micro, and so many different types of EC2 instances available. So you can choose a specific EC2 instance according to your use case. Then we have to select a key pair. A key pair is nothing but it's the combination of two keys, private keys and public keys. The one key, which is the public key, will be associated with your EC2 instance, and the private key will be downloaded inside your local system. So you will be able to access such inside your virtual machine with the help of third-party tools securely with the help of this key pair. Then you need to select the network settings. So basically, this is what the topic we have covered in the last video or the Terraform practical lecture 1, in which we have seen that how to create a VPC architecture using Terraform. So VPC is nothing but your virtual private cloud. It's a private isolated environment for an individual or for an organization. They can create and then they can divide that specific environment into multiple parts to put their resources depending on the accessibility or the availability of the resources, if the resources are directly accessible from the internet or they have exposure to the internet or not, depending on if you have a database server, you can put inside the private VPC environment, which is your private subnet. And if you have a web server, you can put that inside your public subnet from the separation of your VPC basically. So you have to select that in which VPC you want to create this virtual machine. If this is your web server, you can put it in public subnet, or if it is your database server, you can put it in the private subnet. Do you want to enable the auto assign of the public IP address? So you can select that, enable that, and then we have this concept of security groups in which we can create a security group or we can select an existing security group, which is nothing but a firewall. It's a stateful firewall, which means that you can put this firewall on the up level of your virtual machine, which it is going to be set on the above your virtual machine, or maybe you can say that your virtual machine is basically safe from this say because of this security group, as the security group will have all the inbound rules that what type of traffic you are allowing to access this EC2 instance. And by default, everyone is allowed to go outside from this EC2 instance using the security group, as it is a stateful in nature. You can configure your storage from here, and in advanced detail there are a couple of more informations which we cannot cover in this specific short video, in which we are just going to see that how to create this EC2 instance using Terraform infrastructure as code 2. Right now I am in my root account basically, right? So let's just go to this IAM section over here. I have created one IAM user, and let me just use the credentials of that specific user, and with the help of those credentials we will be logging inside AWS management console. Okay, now the name of the user is basically Terraform, and the password is let me just enter inside my AWS management console using this IAM user profile, and then I have given all the administrator access to this IAM user Terraform over here, and I have already integrated this IAM user credentials with my Terraform over here. So this is my Visual Studio Code. I have already configured my AWS account with this Visual Studio Code. You can also configure your AWS account using AWS space configure command. It will ask you for the secret key, it will ask you for the region, it will ask you for the access key, which is your secret key and secret access key. It will ask you for region and the specific output, and then you will be good to go. You have configured your AWS account with this Visual Studio Code. If you want to see what are the different IAM profiles are available, you can just type AWS space IAM space list profiles or list users. You can use this specific command to see that whether the different IAM users are available. Right now we have only one user available, which is named as Terraform, and we have logged in with this specific user. You can see the secret key which is associated with this specific user is available over here. So everything is good so far. We have associated or we have configured our AWS account, and we have logged in with the Terraform user, as you can see over here as well, right? Now let me just start with this specific section, in which let's go to the file section and try to open a specific folder. So I have already created a folder inside my E drive, and the folder name is basically, let me just call it as my Terraform. Select the folder, and we'll open the folder, and whatever the code we are going to write using the Terraform, we are going to write inside this my Terraform folder only. What are the different files we are going to create? All the files we are going to create only inside this my Terraform folder. So if you click on in this side, you can see over here we have already created some variable files. Now you can also create this variables.tf file. TF is nothing but the Terraform, and this is the extension you need to use whenever you are creating a specific file which is associated or which is related to the Terraform. So don't forget to provide the extension as TF. Okay, otherwise it will not be considered the Terraform file. So first, what you need to do, you need to create a variable file, and inside these variables, you can specify those variables which you need to use in the main.tf file. This is your main.tf file in which you are going to write a specific all the codes related to the resource which you want to create in the AWS management console. And you can specify the variables as I have specified this access key variable, secret key variable, and region variable, in which I have specified that with the help of this access key, I'm going to provide the information of the access key. With the help of variable secret key, I'm going to provide the information of the secret key. And with the help of the variable region, I am going to provide the value of the region, which is US East. And if you go to terraform.tf vars file, here I have provided all the information, region, access key, and secret access key, and it will automatically take this information and it will associate this information with these different variables over here. And in this main.tf, whenever you require to use the access key, instead of providing the entire access key, what you can do, you can just type var dot and you can specify the variable's name. Var dot access key, you can provide var dot access underscore key. This you can provide instead of providing the entire access key. Getting my point? Let me just start the suggestions. And over here as well, you can, instead of providing the secret access key entire, you can just specify var dot, and you can go to tf dot variable dot tf and var dot secret key. You can provide this as well. Okay, right. So let me just everything is good so far. Now I'm just trying to give you an example that how exactly you can perform these actions. So instead of using entire key, you can also use the variables as well. Right now, I'm just providing this access key and secret access key. As of now, I just wanted to show you. And if you want to see that how exactly we can create this entire VPC infrastructure using Terraform, you have to watch our lecture number 1 of the Terraform practicals. No worries. Now, let me just start with this specific video in which we are going to see that how to create an EC2 instance using the Terraform, right? Now, for that, let me just remove all this code instead of this provider, everything. Let me just remove everything. Okay. Now, you need to select a provider. Now, this Terraform tool basically supports all the different providers or the different clouds available, cloud providers available out the world. In our case, we are using AWS as our cloud provider, right? That's why you need to select provider as AWS. Now, if you want to create an EC2 instance using your Terraform tool, what you can do, you just type Terraform AWS EC2 documentation. And if you go to AWS instance resource, which is over here, you can see this is the code which you can use to create a new EC2 instance. And the in this specific example, they have created t2.micro EC2 instance. So first you need to use the provider, then you have to specify the region, then you have to specify the data as AMI, which AMI you want to use, and then you can also specify some filters available. Like they have put it one filter in which they have used name and in which we have provided the value of the AMI. Then they have used a filter again name in which they have choose the virtualization type, hypervisor virtualization they want to use for the specific EC2 instance. Then this is the code which you can use as resource as AWS instance, name as web. AMI, they have used this data.aws underscore AMI in which they have specified over here. Over here they have specified data, and then they have used instance type t2.micro. So the same code you can use inside the code environment inside your Visual Studio Code as well. Getting my point, folks, right? So let's type. So I have shown you one thing over here that if you want to create an EC2 instance, we also need to create a security group to provide the specific uh, permissions basically. If not, then it will create a security group for your EC2 instance by default as well. No worries. Let me just create a resource. Now, resource is AWS underscore. So if you type AWS underscore, it will give you all the available options that what exactly you need to create using AWS underscore. So if you just type AWS underscore SEC, it will give you that you can also create AWS security. What should be the name you want to provide or you want to specify to this AWS security group? So suppose I want to provide as web server. This is the security group which I want to create. What should be the name of your security group? So I can specify a name to my security group as well. And in our case, let's give it as web server. This will be the name of my security group. Do you want to provide any description to your security group? So my security group will allow incoming traffic, which should be HTTP connection. So I want to open the HTTP port for my EC2 instance to which I'm going to create or I'm going to associate this security group to my EC2 instance. So I want to allow all the HTTP traffic. I will use ingress over here, and inside this ingress, what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide the specific port details that from which port you want to allow the specific HTTP traffic. So you can use from underscore port, and the value you can specify as 80 because 80 is the port for HTTP. To which port you want to specify from 80 to port, I want to specify as 80 over here as well, right? It is related to which protocol basically. So it is associated with the protocol name as TCP. This is what I want to provide over name as well. And you need to specify a CIDR range as well. So the CIDR range for the specific security group you are creating. So I want that the traffic from internet, which is our 0.0.0.0 forward slash 0 is the address of the internet. This is what I want to allow to from the specific security group. And apart from that, I also want to open all the TCP port as well, in which I will be using egress over here. And inside this egress, what I want to specify, I want to specify from port. So I will open all the ports over here. So from port 0 to port 0, and I also open all the protocols. So I will specify -1 over here to open all the ports of the TCP available from 0 to 0. And the CIDR blocks which I want to specify over here are basically the internet, which is 0.0.0.0 forward slash 0. This is what I want to specify over here. So what exactly I have done over here, I have given the information to my specific Terraform that I want to create an AWS security group named as web server. What should be the description of the web server? The description should be allow internet traffic. And if you want to allow internet traffic, you need to open the port, and the port is basically nothing but your HTTP port. Now, HTTP port number 80, I want to open for my security groups. And once I will open this port number 80 security group, port number 80, which is your HTTP port for the TCP protocol, then all the individuals or a specific service wants to access from the HTTP protocol, HTTP port to my virtual machine. If they want to access my virtual machine, they will be able to access that specific virtual machine, right? Now I have used one ingress rule. That's ingress rule is basically which basically allows all the inbound HTTP traffic to port 80 from any IP address, that is your 0000 forward slash 0, which is from the internet. Everyone from every IP will be able to access my virtual machine to which this security group is going to be attached. Ingress rule is used for the incoming traffic. As you can see that IN is over here, so you can learn in that way. Ingress, which is inbound traffic, and egress is basically related to the allowing outbound traffic. So the port protocol -1 part, which means it allows traffic to all the protocols, whether it's a TCP, UDP, ICMP, etc. And the CIDR blocks means that it allows outgoing traffic to any destination IP, right? So this is what we have done so far in this specific um, our lecture basically, right? Now, finally, one more part is pending in this specific practical session, which is to create the resource, which is the main resource, which is our AWS instance, right? What is the name we want to provide to your AWS instance? I want to create a web server. So I will provide name as a web server. Now, I have shown you that if you want to create an EC2 instance, what are the different things you need to follow? You need to select first, you need to select the AMI. Let me just open this instance section over here and let's go to the launch instance section and let's see what are the different AMIs options available over here. If you scroll down, you can see that if you want to use this Amazon Linux AMI or the operating system, if you want to create this specific EC2 instance, the AMI information you can get from here as well. This is your AMI available. So we'll copy this AMI and we'll move towards our Terraform. And in the resource section, I will provide the information of the AMI as the value which we have copied from the AWS Management Console. Now, second thing is the instance type. Now, in our case, we want to create t2.micro EC2 instance. So we'll provide instance type, and the instance type we need to provide as t2.micro. That's it. Then we need to follow the key pair as well. So we'll provide the key name. It will create a key. So let's give name as web key to this key name. That's pretty much so far so good. And the security group which we want to associate with our EC2 instance, that we have already created that specific security group. So we'll use $sign over here. And once you use $sign, then you can start these curly braces. And here you can provide the information of the security group which you have created as AWS security group dot web server, which you have created so far. And after this web server, you just need to provide one more thing, which is web server dot name. That's it. And just use this double quotes over here. Apart from that, what is the issue over here? Okay, uh, before this $sign as well, we need to use the double quotes over here. Okay. Now, if you go to the EC2 section, if you scroll down to these advanced details, you will be able to see there is a section of user data available over here. So you can also write a script over here, maybe for your web server, or maybe you want to install the Apache web server, Nginx web server, or any specific web page you want to create in this virtual machine. You can write the user data script as well. The same user data script you can take from the internet as well. So let's go to the internet and let's just use EC2 user data script for HTML web page. You can search like that. And from the first link, let's try to find out if we have any EC2 user data script is available this specific page or not. So no, any user data script is available. Okay, let's outside from this. Let me check in on another link. Uh, bash user data script to create an EC2 instance. Let's check over here. Yes, here is a script available. You can see some script is available over here. Let's go to the Terraform and let me just type user data, in which we need to specify smaller than sign, and we need to specify end of file. We'll start the end of file section over here, and after that we will start writing our bash script using hash symbol, and then you need to select the exclamation and you can select /bin and then bash. This is the what you can say, this is the way you can write your bash scripts, right? Then you need to specify the super user sudo su, then you need to uh, do some updates. So let me just copy the specific user data script which we have used, copy it from the internet, and let me just use the same. Let's copy this and let's just put it over here. Okay, so this is sudo yum update install httpd service. Okay, and then all the specific dependencies which should be installed in this specific web server are going to be installed using this specific bash script. Unterminated template string, no closing marker was found for the string. Okay, no closing mark found for the string. Let's just use, okay, let me just write it manually then. End of the file. Okay. Uh, we have started that. And, okay. Now after this bin bash, let's start with sudo super user. Sudo super user. Why it is taking some time? Okay. Unexpected block for not expected here. Why it is showing this? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay, this was the resource, and now, okay, we haven't completed yet. That's why it is showing this. No worries. Let's start with the sudo super user, then yum update dash y. I am already providing the yes permissions. Then it should install the httpd service, and I'm providing yes over here. System ctl service, it can start, and after that we are providing system ctl should be enabled as well, and let's provide httpd, and apart from that let's use echo, and let's try to write an html script over here in which we are providing the html script and heading 1, welcome to our web server, and let's just close the heading of the html and also close the html tag which we have used to create this web page. Right, so far so good, everything is good, and let's just write html index.html, end of the file. If you want to provide any tags, let me just provide a tag as name, and tag as a name, and the name should be, let's give name as web server, or maybe web underscore instance should be the name of the tag I'm providing over here, and this is close. Now let me just make you understand what we have done so far. We want to create an AWS EC2 instance as a web server in with the help of this operating system AMI, and the instance type should be t2.micro. This is the key name web key which will be used for SSH into the EC2 instance, and this is the security group we need to create for this EC2 instance so that everyone from the internet should be able to access my EC2 instance. And this is a bash script. We have used the user data so that all the specific dependencies, installations, everything will be up to date, and the httpd services should be start, and this specific web server html web page is going to be installed inside our virtual machine. Fine. So overall, in this specific code, what we have done, we have defined our Linux 2 AMI. The AMI in the US East 1 region is going to be created by this specific code. We have created the key which will be used to SSH inside this EC2 instance, right? And the user data script in which we have installed the Apache web server, right? Now, let me just open the terminal over here and let's just use some Terraform command. Terraform first will use init. It will initialize the specific information which we want to create or the resource which we want to create. It will show you the initialization. It will initialize, it will install all the dependencies and the specific things which are required to create these resources. So everything is good so far. Now we will use Terraform and plan. So it will create a plan for you in which it will show you that what are the different resources this Terraform is going to be create inside your AWS Management Console environment. So using Terraform plan, you can see that what is the plan it's going to be created by this code which you have used. Terraform encountered an error while generating this plan, retrieving AWS account details, validating provider credentials, retrieving caller identity from get HTTP response error status or request ID, API error, invalid client token, the security email the request is invalid with provider on the AWS 2. Okay, something wrong with the account it is showing. Let me just check for that. Provider is AWS. Provider is AWS. Sorry. Okay, and the US East one. Let me check for the security keys. Let's go to the IEM section over here. Go to the users. Go to this Terraform user over here. Go to the security credentials and check for the access key. Okay, let's just delete this access key and copy this access key from here, and we'll create a new access key. Create access key and provide for others. Next, tag value, it's an access key. Okay, so this is the access key. Let's just copy this access key from there, and this is the secret key, and let's try to save it and let's try again. Sorry, Terraform plan. Okay, now let's check if it will show the error again. We have changed the access key and secret access key for this specific account, and let's see if it will still show the error. Then we'll try to incorrect attribute value type. It is showing incorrect attribute value type ingress. It is showing ingress and ingress attribute value type. It's showing it's incorrect. Okay, let me just let's remove this indentation from here. Okay, let's just save it. Let's try again. Web server egress. Okay, Terraform plan again, and let's see if it will show the same error. As I don't think that it should show the error. Why it is showing, I don't know. Ingress. Uh, it's still showing the error. Okay, so I found the error. The error was there that we cannot use is equal to sign when we are using ingress and egress for the specific security group. So I have removed that is equal to sign from the code. And now if you will try Terraform validate, it will validate if there any error inside that specific code or not. So it will validate the entire code and it will show you that if any error is there, then you can move forward and you can specifically specify Terraform plan, and it will generate the plan for you, and it will show you that it will going to be create the security group and it will going to create the EC2 instance, right? Now let's wait for a couple of seconds again and let's see. Okay, this time we are not getting any type of error. So you can see that this is the plan which is created by the Terraform, in which this will be the AMI. And apart from the AMI, the public IP address, availability zone, and everything else will be known after apply. Once first we need to create the apply t2.micro web key will be created, and the security group, this will be the user data. Okay, CIDR block and everything is given over here. So let me just clear this screen for you and let's put Terraform. So before Terraform apply, what we want that if this EC2 instance is created, we will get the public IP only on the AWS management console on the EC2 section, but we want that specific public IP to show on this terminal screen only. So for that, what you can do, you can create a new file named as output.tf, and inside output.tf, you can specify the output you want from this specific, you know, the instance which we are creating underscore IP. So we want the public IP address. We can specify the value of the AWS instance web server, and after this web server, just put the public IP. Right now, what is going to be happen when you hit Terraform space apply? Sorry, the spelling mistake is there. Terraform apply. The public IP address for your EC2 instance you will be getting only in this terminal screen. You can also get that public IP from the AWS management console as well, but to do the things faster, you will get the public IP on this screen as well. Just provide yes, hit enter. AWS security group is creating. You can see error creating EC2 instance, operation error, EC2 run instance, HTTP response error, status code 400. This is the request ID. API error, invalid key pair not found. The key pair web key does not exist. Okay, so let me just remove that thing from here. We don't want to create any key, so let me just remove the key part from there, as we don't want any key. Okay, okay, save this, clear the screen, Terraform validate, check for the error if we have any, check for the error if we have any, and once it will validate the entire code successfully, then we apply again Terraform apply. So basically we have provided the key value over here and we have used web key. So it will check for the specific key is created already created inside the AWS management console or not. If created, then it will take that specific key, but we haven't created any key. So that's why it's shown us the error. So no worries in that. You can create a key pair in the AWS management console, or you can create a key pair using the Terraform as well. I will also tell you that how to create a key pair or the different other things using Terraform code. Okay, in the upcoming sessions, we will cover each and everything. I have planned to give you the all the information related to the simple storage service, how to work with S3 using Terraform, how to work with EC2 using Terraform, how to work with the different AWS services using Terraform, and the different Terraform commands, different Terraform modules, different Terraform functions, Terraform variables, and the different Terraform state files as well. We are going to cover each and everything. As you can see, that apply complete. One resource is added inside your AWS management account. What is the resource? Your resource is your EC2 instance, web instance, and the public IP you can get over here. You can match that key as IP as well. 52.295.233. Let's go to the AWS management console and let's go to the instance section. So you can see one instance is running over here, which is t2.micro. And if you open this EC2 instance, you can match the public IP of this EC2 instance as well. And you can also check for the security group as well, which security group is created by the EC2 instance. You can see this web server is created by this EC2 instance. If you can open the security group in a new tab, you can also check for the inbound rules which you have specified as HTTP port 80 is open, and outbound everyone will be able to go outside from this specific security group EC2 instance to which this is basically associated, right? So let's go to the Terraform and copy this IP address from here, and you can also copy this from this screen as well. And let's try to paste it in the browser to see that if the web server is installed or not. So now it is showing us the error. Why it is showing us the error? Basically because that for to the VPC, this EC2 instance is associated is basically with the default VPC, and this default VPC is not having any type of internet gateway. That's why the internet accessibility to this virtual machine is as of now is not available. If you go to the internet gateway, you will be able to see that no any specific other apart from the default internet gateway is created for this specific VPC to which this EC2 instance is basically associated. So that's why it is showing us the error, like the site can't be reached. This can be the first reason. Second, this EC2 instance as of now is in the status check state. You can see the status check state, it's still in the initializing, but now the status, both of the status check is passed. Let me just go to the browser again. Let's try to put the public IP again to check if the web server is running or not. Still it is not running, so that's why the internet gateway uh, error can be the problem over here, right? So no need to worry about this. You can also create an internet gateway, and you can attach that internet gateway to your VPC, and you can then create a route table as well. In that specific route table, you need to provide the routes to the internet to that specific internet gateway or to the VPC. Only then you will be able to access this virtual machine from the internet. To connect to this virtual machine, you can click on this connect button over here, and SSH is not authorized. Port number 22 is not authorized is showing. So what we need to do, let's go to the security group. Let's go to the security group, and in the inbound rules, let's try to give it the permission as SSH from anywhere IPv4. Click on the save rules. Let's go to the EC2 again, and let's now try to connect to this virtual machine, and you will see that hopefully we'll be able to connect to this virtual machine. See, we are able to SSH inside our virtual machine as we have opened the port number SSH port to this virtual machine basically, right? So this is how you can create an EC2 instance using Terraform. And if you want to clear all the resources, you just use Terraform destroy command, and the resources which are basically created by the Terraform, all the resources are going to be terminated and destroyed via Terraform using Terraform destroy command. Let's wait for the couple of seconds, and then all the resources are going to be destroyed. If you go to the AWS console and if you refresh it, you will be able to see that instance state is currently in the running state. Let me just refresh it again. It is still in the processing. Security group is in the terminating state, instance is in refreshing state. Let me refresh it again. It's still in the running state. Okay. It is taking a little bit of time. No worries. The resources are going to be terminated once I will put yes over here. Clear, Terraform, destroy. Fine. I hope that everything is clear to all of you and you have just learned that how to create an EC2 instance and the security group associated with the EC2 instance using the specific tutorial. If you like the tutorial and if you learned a new thing from this specific video, do hit the like button and comment down if you have any doubts or if you have any suggestions or any specific topic or any specific technology video related to DevOps, related to AWS and the other cloud as well. As I am a multi-cloud expert and I am working as an instructor of the multi-cloud. I provide trainings to AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud as well. And if you have any queries, you can connect with me. I am putting my number in the description box. You can connect me over WhatsApp only. Don't try to call me. I will not pick up the call. Fine. You can connect me over WhatsApp and you can ask any query if you have, and you can also maybe get information on the different trainings which I'm providing, and you can connect with me. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. We'll meet in the next video, and in the next video, maybe we'll try to cover more things with the help of Terraform infrastructure as well. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.